let me bring in Hayman Capital Management founder and Chief Investment Officer Kyle Bass. Kyle, thank you very much for joining us. And you are coming to us from Texas. A lot of developments this morning with regard to oil and, of course, what we just heard from General Kane and General Hegseth. Your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, oil's up roughly $5 or what, 7% today, something like that, Maria. I think that, right now the insurers have pulled their insurance abilities in the Straits of Hormuz, and about a third of the world's seaborne crude flows through that strait every day. 50% of China's imports flow through that strait every day, and right now things are not going through the strait. So, in historical terms, we used to replace reserves, 90 to 100% of reserves per year on a replacement. In the last few years, we've only replaced about 7% of reserves, thinking the world's going to electrification. But if the Strait of Hormuz ends up becoming, let's say, even a multi-week problem, the front end of crude could go much, much higher. I'm not saying the whole curve will go higher, but I think that the market's not properly discounting, I think, what could happen for both crude and natural gas. You see LNG prices in Europe are up 22% today because, about 20% of the world's LNG rolls through the Strait of Hormuz every day. And Qatar just said that they're going to stop production temporarily.
Yeah, I mean, this is some of the headlines, and let me just say that was Secretary Hegseth and General Kane speaking this morning at the Pentagon. But you mentioned the move that we're seeing this morning, up 8%. A lot of headlines: Qatar's decision to suspend LNG production. Still no effort by Iran to officially close the Strait of Hormuz. However, you've got shipping really frozen at this point. Are you saying that you are expecting oil prices to go much higher? I mean, they're higher this morning as traders react to the fears of Iran supply disruptions. That tanker traffic through the strait effectively halted because of Operation Epic Fury. How much higher can oil go, Kyle?
Yeah, Maria, remember when we had the ice apocalypse in Texas, and we had the scenario where storage filled up right away, and COVID happened, and then when COVID happened and the demand disappeared overnight for crude, we saw negative front-end crude prices. What I'm saying is that the converse here could be true, Maria, where crude is priced on the marginal barrel. And if all of a sudden 10 million barrels a day out of roughly 106, 107 million barrels of demand daily, if 10 million barrels goes missing or gets delayed for a week, there's no telling where the front end can go. So, we're at risk. We're at risk of a pretty major oil price spike here, and we'll see. The Iranians have not moved to mine the strait yet. It's something that we're very focused on militarily. The narrowest part of that strait is only about 5 miles wide, so we're talking about a real kind of choke point out there. But the Iranians have not moved to mine it. But they did yesterday, Sunday. They did hit 3 tankers with missiles. So that has spooked the international marketplace.
Now, when I spoke with General David Petraeus yesterday, he talked about how incredible this operation has been, not just from the military and from the air and the sea, but also the intelligence part of this, Kyle. You've also been studying this. Give us your reaction to this in terms of impacts elsewhere. You also talked about the potential for terrorism worries because of these potential terrorism cells across America. And I also want to talk a little about what this means for defense spending. The president said he wants a defense budget in 2027 of $1.5 trillion. When you've got combat like this, doesn't that support that kind of an expectation?
It does, Maria. We have a lot to unpack here, but it's the last question first. The president said he wants $1.5 trillion. We have about a $31 trillion economy. We're spending about $1 trillion on defense. If you look at the historical analogs for the Iran-Iraq wars, the Vietnam War, the Cold War, Korea, and then back to World War II, there are varying levels of defense spending as a percentage of GDP that are much, much higher than 3.3%. You have NATO potentially achieving their 2% of GDP pledge. Collectively they got there last year, but there were still a number of nations that didn't get there. So they're now talking about 5% of GDP. President Trump's talking about $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion would get us to almost 5% of GDP. I believe we need to be there or even higher, and we need to spend the new money on lower cost, right, attritable weapon systems. We don't need to build the call it defense items of the past. We need to really focus on America's best and brightest, and we are doing that now. You know, you see the Department of War under Secretary Hegseth and Under Secretary Feinberg, or DepSep Feinberg, has been doing deals with the Office of Strategic Capital, building our munition stockpiles and our stockpiles of critical minerals. And you're going to see a lot more of that in the future, Maria.
Yeah, and what about the idea that people are now worried about potential Iranian terrorist cells in America? You posted about this yesterday. What should we be thinking about with regard to these worries around this war right now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, I'm in Texas. I've sat on the state police, foundation board for over a decade. I went down to the border multiple times with our state police during the Biden administration. Maria, I know there was lot's been said about it, but I followed these immigrants, the illegal immigrants, as they came across our border, as they went into processing facilities, and as the United States government ended up giving them plane tickets to wherever they wanted to travel to, Maria. And so we FOIA'd CBP, and we said, how many special interest aliens have come in between October of 21 and October of 23? So a 2-year period. And the numbers of special interest aliens, so those are aliens coming from countries that we deem to be adversarial to the United States. So, you think Iran, you think Pakistan, you think China, you think all these others. And what we saw was nothing short of shocking. We saw hundreds and thousands, and in Turkey's case, tens of thousands of Turks coming through the border of Mexico and Texas. That doesn't make any sense, Maria, other than it could be potentially problematic. Almost 700 military-aged Iranian males came across our border. We apprehended them and released them into our society. So that damage, that national security damage that the Biden administration did to the United States is incalculable. We're not going to know what that damage is, but we will see it maybe over the next decade or so.
You're absolutely right, Kyle. I also went to the border so many times, 6 times in a couple of years, and what I saw was just unimaginable. Real quick before you go, we're going to talk with Governor Greg Abbott in a moment about what you just mentioned in the border and the impact today. But you see a market down 500 points right now. Kyle, you're an investor. What do you want to do here?
Yeah, look, you probably don't want to hear my view here, but look, the world has experienced the largest peacetime accumulation of debt in world history. When you look at total debts to GDP in the developed world, they've really never been here before collectively. We all know that that's unsustainable in the long run. Historically, what's happened is it causes friction, it tears social fabrics, and wars break out. So I believe that this isn't the last conflict we're going to see in the next few years. And I fear China is going to move on Taiwan in the next couple of years.
So does that mean I'm selling into this sell-off?
You know, look, Maria, the what is it, the Magnificent Seven? I don't know how to value. I don't know how to value the AI stocks out there. But the U.S. is certainly the place to have your money when you're thinking about the global chessboard, the way it's playing out right now, and the stimulus that we're going to see from President Trump's policies to reindustrialize America. You're going to see a huge tailwind. So, I don't buy and sell things each day, but I certainly wouldn't sell America right now. I would not do that.
Exactly. Of course. And we pray for the families of the lost soldiers and the wounded right now. Kyle, thank you for weighing in. We are fast moving this morning. Please come back soon for more time with me. Thank you, Kyle Bass, this morning.
My pleasure.
We'll see you soon.